Hello again. Today I decided to try Terraria, but gravity is constantly reversed. I saw a few other people do this challenge and I was like, that seems quite interesting. Let's do it. This playthrough was very confusing for my sense of direction, but anyways, let's get started. After my world was created, I hopped onto the Builder's Workshop world. Now you may be wondering, why am I going onto this world and not straight into the reverse gravity world? And that's because of one item in particular, the gravity globe. This will keep my gravity reversed so long as I don't die, log off, or remove it from my accessory slot. I could have used gravity potions, but that would have required me to reuse the potion like every 3 minutes, which I definitely didn't feel like doing. Anyway, I load into the world and dig myself a hole before I flip gravity just because I didn't feel like dying 70 times to mine one tree. I also didn't feel like flipping gravity back every time I hit the sky layer, since when you hit the sky layer with reverse gravity, your character automatically flips back to normal. I start digging around for more trees, and after that I go down, or up? A cave to start exploring it. I don't find much, so I quickly go back up and spend the rest of the night working on a base. Here's a fun fact. I'll be telling you a lot of fun facts in this video, so be prepared. Ropes, platforms, and minecart tracks don't work while you're upside down. There's also things that will automatically flip your gravity back that are beyond your control. For example, if you accidentally sit in a chair or you get hit with a confusion debuff for some reason. And I also ended up having to make smaller NPC houses because apparently your max building length or whatever it's called is decreased by 1 when you're upside down. After the NPC housing is finished, I start exploring to the left side of my world. I end up falling off my platform in the process, falling into the sky, but manage to find a floating island right above me. I find a celestial magnet, which is very disappointing, but then I continue to the left side of my world even more after that. I find a living tree which didn't really have good loot, but oh well, I'll take it. I try to explore the jungle, but a very kind jungle bat decides that, hey, you might want to go back home as it's quite dangerous at night. The next morning, I start working on a elevator, and it's very tedious going up the elevator instead of falling down. Next, I start exploring the right side of my world, and I find 2 living trees that actually had somewhat decent loot. I took a small break exploring the right side of my world and made a chest room, but after that I continued again to where I found the ice biome. I also actually found a use for ropes in this playthrough, and that even though you can't use rope to go up or down, you technically can place blocks next to it, which allows for quick travel upwards or downwards. This playthrough has really thrown off my sense of direction. In the ice cave, I found rubies, which means that I can actually fight King Slime for my first boss in this playthrough. After gathering more loot, I explore the jungle some more. I work on my elevator some more. After building more NPC housing, I continue exploring further towards the edges of my world, occasionally falling of course, but other than that, finding some pretty decent loot. I actually end up finding a mushroom biome after continuing the elevator some more. It has a lot of gold and a life crystal, but it also has an eye summon. After doing a mix of exploring and dying over and over, mainly in the jungle, I go to the Crimson Altar, make summons for King Slime, and start the fight. And why does this feel so weird to see King Slime on the ceiling? Okay, I know I'm the one on the ceiling, but it's from my point of view, okay? The fight was, of course, very easy, and after making a trophy room, I went to continue my elevator yet again. Since I got a hook from King Slime, this makes building the elevator much easier. I did get a mount, but I can't really use that because, you know, I'm upside down. Oh hey, the bone pickaxe. Nice. I explored the surrounding caves for the loot, and I managed to get up to 200 HP. I also fought King Slime some more, but that isn't really important, so let's just skip that. What is important, however, is after some careful preparations, I started the Eye of Cthulhu fight. Now, right away, you may notice one problem, and it's that the eye likes to hover above you normally, but since I'm upside down, the eye's below me. And I don't really have anything that goes through blocks, so I just have to constantly grapple to the ceiling to even be able to hit the eye. 164 health, I hate this game. Alright, guess I need more preparations. After defeating the Eye, I managed to get to full health as well as finally find the Crimson after exploring some more. I decide to try to fight the Brain of Cthulhu and I make it decently far. However, I ended up dying right before the second phase due to a blood crawler, but I actually made it decently far for a first attempt. With some extra buffs, I charge straight back into the Crimson, I smash one heart, I smash the other, search for a third one. I search for another one. There isn't any more, is there? I, being very annoyed that I just wasted buffs for no reason, collect enough mushrooms and vertebrae for a summon. I actually buff this time, and then I start the Brain of Cthulhu fight. And I die. Well, it looks like I'm gonna need a bit more preparation if I want to defeat the Brain. Before I go back into the Crimson, I find the traveling merchant is selling some very important items, and after purchasing everything I needed, I charge directly back into the Crimson, get everything I need, and start the fight. Why? It was at this point when the Goblin Army decided to pay me a visit since I haven't paid them my monthly rent yet. I of course do what any tenant does and murder every single one of them using a sword forged out of ore from the depths of hell. Wait, what do you mean that's not normal? I start the brain fight yet again, and yet again I end up dying in the second phase. It was at this point when I decided that instead of using the underground arena and dying over and over, I was going to use a surface arena. Making an arena on the surface allowed me to easily beat the Brain of Cthulhu, but I looked down at my taskbar and realized there wasn't a little red circle next to OBS, which means I forgot to record it! After actually beating the Brain this time and recording it, I went straight to fighting Skeletron. I went straight to building an arena for the Wall of Flesh. This was actually one of the more normal things in this playthrough, the only difference being that I was on the ceiling instead of the floor. I also fought Queen Bee during this, but yeah. After I died to Queen Bee, I went to fight Skeletron, and then I managed to defeat him. After some final preparations, I was ready to face up against the Wall of Flesh. Funny thing about the Zapnator, It usually deals around 50 damage per shot, but if you're very lucky, it can deal up to 300 damage in one shot, which is one reason why I absolutely love the Zapinator. Despite the Zapinator's DPS, I unfortunately ran out of room while fighting the Wall of Flesh and I ended up dead. I tried the exact same thing with the exact same gear, and who knew that I ended up at the exact same point. However, I did have one more idea, and that was to add a series of doors along the path. That way the lasers shot by the wall would hit the door instead of me if I got low. Simply by the fact that I added the doors, keep in mind it's still the exact same gear, I somehow managed to defeat the Wall of Flesh, releasing the spirits of light and dark on this world. I checked the map after I defeated the wall and found that the hollow was in a decent spot, but the crimson was directly in the middle of my jungle. So now, half of my jungle is already gone, which is just great. To make things even worse, a goblin army showed up right out of hard mode, and we all know how well that goes. I would continue hard mode, but for this video, I think I'm gonna leave it off for now. The main reason being that I would like to get a video out on this playthrough sometime within the next century, and also just because I feel like splitting it up into 2 parts, because, you know, why not? Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this playthrough so far, and well, yeah, see ya.